Hello. So we're going to continue on with the project that we were working on by building a automated YouTube channel using TikTok videos, and the idea being that we'll compile them into a compilation video and put them up onto YouTube. Now, carrying on from where we left off, I built an automated script and then I scraped these videos from TikTok's dance tags and stuff like that. And so the idea of this episode is to use a library, something called Movie PY, it's a Python library, and try and get certain videos to attach themselves together and then have them back to back as a compilation, whatever you call it. And that way you can dynamically add random videos based on what you have in your library. So in this case, what I have in a folder. So I have 110 videos, and roughly the whole space of the folder in terms of time is about 41 minutes worth of content. So we want to make a couple of videos that are maybe 10 to 20 minutes with a variety of different videos. So we'll see if we can try and make 3 10-minute videos, and hopefully there aren't many duplicates in those videos. And then we can see if hopefully the audio sticks and stuff like that. So, just going through the method, we're probably going to have to use a random import because we're going to have to generate random numbers. And we're going to have to use a new library called Movie Pi. So if I just go into that and just actually look up the requirements for that, because obviously you have to do a pip install. So it's just pip install movie py. So let's install that in our project. So let's go in terminal. Let's do pip install movie py. Let it do its thing. Or let it do its thing. Okay, this might take a bit of time, so let's look at other stuff. Now we want to see an example of how the code can be implemented. So it uses something like the video clip and then the location of the video clip, and then we have to use something called composite video clip, and that arranges it as a video. So we then need to figure out how to actually save it. So let's see more examples. I'll update this as well. Okay, so let's import this movie stuff. So movie py, actually we want to say from movie py import for now we don't know what we're doing, so let's just use a star. Dot editor. Okay, cool, so that makes sense. So we're also going to need to import our OS, so to keep track of the directory. So just comment this out for a minute. Let's print here. Let's stop. So, probably starting from the beginning, we're going to have to get a list of our directory. So let's say path to videos. So let's say copy path references, absolute path. Let's put a forward slash here because it usually doesn't catch it. So yeah, we want to say that. Then we want to say os.list dir path to videos. And let's just check what that does again because I can't remember off the top of my head. Let's import os and let's say os.list dir. Okay, list our files. Okay. And then we can have here files equal that, and then we can say for file we can say either a for loop which then goes for each file programmatically, or let's first look at how to actually get the length of a video. How to use MoviePy. Was a for file. So firstly, let's pump them all into a video clip, because we have to load them in memory to work out what the sizes of them. So we'll just go through every file in files, and then we can say video equals video file clip is equal to, let's say, path plus file equals full underscore path, and that's our full string, path to videos. And that will be our full string to the actual path, and we can say full path. Then we can say video. And now we need to think about the data structure we want to use to hold this stuff in. So we could say something like I misspelled automation with an M. Oh, my bad. Should we refactor that? Okay, let's try refactoring that. Automation refactor. Couldn't do that. But can you do the? Alright, never mind. Python's annoying about that. You can't always rename the directory. Sometimes it just throws a hell of errors all over the place. So yeah, okay. So yeah, okay. So we could just pump all of them into a list of videos. So we can say videos underscore list of videos loaded, because they're loaded into the machine. And we have that as an empty list, and then we can say here list of videos loaded dot append video. Okay, and then we've got that sorted. Yeah, so we got that sorted. Now we have all the videos on our machine, and then what we want to do now is we want to randomly choose videos that have a duration of about, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to have to use a while loop here probably. While, let's call this time of total video is equal to something like let's say 10. So we'll have to times that by 60. Okay, so because our times are 60, we want to times that by 60 itself, so it means 10 minutes. And then we'll have this as current total time and have it equal to 0. And we can say while time of total video is bigger than current total time. So as soon as that becomes bigger, we can exit the while loop. So what we can say here is we need to import random. So random int between 0. Okay, so let's just test it out ourselves then. So let's say so if we import random and then we say random dot randint, and let's say 1 or 2. Oh, okay, that proves it right. Okay, so I wanted to check whether sometimes if you say random, it generates a value between these two. So either the lower bound, upper bound generates a 2. So I wanted to check if it would ever equal the lower bound. So let's test that out again. Yeah, okay, so it can equal the lower bound too. So that's great. Because when we have videos, you want to make sure you're at least selecting the video in the upper bound and the video in the lower bound could be selected. You don't want everything else between those two boundaries, otherwise you're just going to have a headache. So yeah, so we want to get the length of that list. Let's say video list of videos loaded. I'm going to -1 from that, remember, because lists start from 1. They start from 0 all the way to the end of the list. So, and because list lengths are generally, we don't count 0, we count everything above that. So that way you want a -1, so the index value is correct in that. So that will be our index value. And that equal to that, and then we can say make another list saying lists of videos to use. I'm going to have an empty list. And then what we can say here is something like, yeah, we can say list of videos to use, put an index value there of index value, so that will give us a random number each time. We can store that into .append, and then that will be our list of videos loaded, and then that will be our index value. Yeah, so they're using the random index given, and then we're going through the list of videos that are loaded and appending it to the list to use here. And before we do that, we want to check that firstly. Actually, let's just load the index value first. So I'll explain why in a minute. Because technically random here is not really random. If you look at computer code and look at random videos, well, not random videos, if you look at computer code and test out the random function, you'll get a lot of duplicates. And obviously if we're making a TikTok video compilation, you don't want to see a lot of duplicates. If any, you don't really want to see any, but people do happen to do duplicates themselves, but in general you don't want duplicates in this case. So we're going to say if index value is in our list of videos to use index, then I want you to continue, right? And so if that happens, then it'll go back here and then go through another loop until it finds another unique value. So obviously that might lead to the case where all the videos are being used in that particular list, but if that's the case, then if that's the case, we'll be caught in an infinite loop. How about this? We'll say this: if no, this has to be changed. We'll have to say something else different. We'll say global underscore lists, global list of videos used, and we'll say here if index value is in global list of index used, then continue. Otherwise, if global list of index used and its length is -1 is larger. If you get, so the global list of the videos used should be the total number of items in a list. If that -1 is larger than the list of videos used index, then in that case it means that we've used up. Yeah, so in that case, if there's len global list of -1, so let's say they're both 10 values in the list and the global value is 9, we'll just say get the length of it, we'll just say if the length of the global list, so videos that we've put into list of videos loaded. So the idea I have is that we'll make 3 videos per iteration of this whole script, and for every one of those 3 videos we want to check that we're using unique videos for each one. Now if the case ever does arise where the 2 videos, the last one video is running out of videos it can use, so this is what this case is for. So this global list of videos will be included in all 3 videos used, and they'll be referenced here. Okay, so the way this code works right now is we load in all the files and convert them into a video clip. Now a video file clip is a object used in the MoviePy editor, and it will give us a duration of the clip that we have. And we have this global list of videos we're going to have outside our for loop, and then we have this for loop here, which basically means that we're going to make 3 videos. We've got this instructions here, or limits, where this will be 10 minutes, saying that our video has to be 10 minutes long, and this is saying what the current time is of our current video. We then go into this while loop, we then check the total time of our video should be 10 minutes. This is checking whether we've exceeded 10 minutes or not. If not, then we get out of this for loop. We then have an index here to generate a random value, and that random value will then pull out a video from the videos that we have rendered onto memory. We then check if the index value is in our global list. So obviously you don't want duplicates of the same video in one compilation video. So if that's the case, we're then going to check the length of our global videos used. So this list here will contain every video for the 3 videos, and if a case does arise where we are running out of videos to use in our compilation video, then we check this against this. So also to bear in mind, we're going to do global list of videos.append index value. So we're going to store the index value in this thing here. We're going to get the length of that, we're going to check if this length of the videos we've used for all 3 videos is larger than the videos of what we have loaded. And if that's the case, then we'll clear videos. And say global list of videos used is now equal to an empty list. And that way we can start again by pulling duplicate videos, because we wouldn't have any more space. Or we wouldn't, it's not a case that we wouldn't have space, it's a case that we wouldn't have any videos to fill in a new compilation video. But I'm assuming a few duplicates are fine. So that seems alright. And then after we get at that, we'll continue and then go back here and start adding here. So once we have that done, we then want to do something like we want to say list of videos loaded. We then want to get the index value for that. We then want to say duration is equal to our time, and then we're going to say I want that added to the current total time. And so what that will do for us is it will make sure that the time we have for our video is extended. So we want a 10-minute video, and right now our current video time is 0. So this will add the seconds of each video up and store it into this variable to the point where it will get above 10 minutes, and when that's the case, it will break out this for loop, because that will become false and it will exit out. So that seems okay. And then if that's the case, we'll now have a list of videos we can use. So list of index to use, and what we can say is for index in list of video use index and we can say here list of final videos to use, and then we can say list of final videos to use, and then we can say append list of videos loaded, and then we can put the index of that in there, and then that way it will store all of them into a list. And then what we can do is use the final thing they have here, copy that, Control V, and then we're going to get rid of that, and we're just going to paste in the list we have created. So that will be list of final videos to use. So hopefully that should work. And then obviously we have to write that to our machine. And I think that should be able to do it for us. MP4. Let's call that compilation. Is it compilation? I have no idea how you spell these things. Is it compilation or compilation? TikTok P-I-L-A. Okay. P-I-L. Yeah. Compilation, not M. Okay. And then we can put that here. Underscore, so hopefully that will be the number. TikTok combination, and hopefully that works. So let's give this a ring then, shall we? So let's start debugging this. Okay, so we go into our path of video, we got that done. Let's go down. We've now got files, 115. We're then going to load them on. Let's go through that. Maybe I should have just tested it with 2 videos. That would have been better instead of waiting that long. Okay, so we go down. We then go into range of 3. Yeah, so there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. 1 minute times by 10 is 10 minutes. So cool, we got that. We then have total time is equal to 600, and we got that to equal 0. We then want to get that, and that gives us a value of 28. Is that in here? No. If that's the case, then we are going to go into that, append that value, carry on. Let's see what actual value this gives out. Oops, Control Z that. Control C, Control V, 30. Okay, 30 seconds, yeah. Okay. So let's check if this actually gets called, and we want to stop around about here. Okay, so 62 has been called in. If that's the case, check our length here. Is 8, and our length minus 1, and 44. So I chose the minus 1 option because that means this one's always going to be larger, right? So it's going to be 144, 100. It's going to be 100. It's going to be 115, and so when this becomes full, it will be around about 115 if it becomes full. So yeah, it will become 115 if full, and so 1 minus here becomes 114. So if it goes through all the videos, then we'll clear out the list, so there will be no remainder. So this will have to be like max full, and if it's max full, then we'll say okay, check if it's bigger than 114. I mean, ideally I guess I could have just put an equal sign. That probably would have been easier. If the lengths are both equal to one another, and you could consider the list full, right? So I mean, you could have just said something like that, right? I mean, it would have been obvious that way. But what I should have done was something like, if that's bigger than that, minus 2. Because that way you've got some space in your hand. Because you're generating a random number to be one number in that, yeah. So yeah, I should have changed that. Anyway. Okay, cool. So we had a time of 625 seconds. Let's see if hopefully this doesn't crash. Cool. And then let's see if we can write this. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay, it might take a bit of time. Okay, cool. So it loaded. Let's see if it loaded here. Let's make a new folder thing. Compilation bits. Let's copy that reference absolute path, and then we can go here and then Control V that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I really need to change that to an N. Anything? That was loud, very loud. That doesn't make sense. Concatenate underscore video clips. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that, see how that works out. So I found a bug here where it was only getting the first 3 videos of a randomization. So we're going to use a different function here called concatenate underscore video clips, and hopefully this should compile it correctly. I mean, it seems more likely now because it's taking a much longer time to render all the video clips together. Okay, it's still corrupted. How to convert videos to the same frame rate in movie PY without slowing them down. Alright, we can program this, can't we? So we can just say here, we can say list of video loaded index dot f, and what does that return back? Is that a string? Is that a number? What type is that? It's a float. Okay. So we can then say a variable here saying lowest frame rate. We'll set this to float dot. Let's just leave it at that. I can't figure out what the thing is. We'll just say if frame rate current, and we'll say if frame rate current is smaller than lowest frame rate, then we'll say lowest frame rate is equal to frame rate current, and then that way all we have to do is specify here lowest frame rate. Let's try that again. Control C, Control V, enter. So that way, so just to recap what we're doing, I found an issue with the previous video that the videos kept flickering, and I think it might be an issue with the frame rate. So what I've done is I've made a change to the for loop above, in that it goes through all the videos that's going to be made into a compilation, whatever it's called. It finds out which video has the lowest frame rate and then sets the whole video to that frame rate. So that way, if the lowest frame rate is 23.97, it will set the whole compilation video to that frame rate. So hopefully that will stop that kind of that jerking up and down of clips, and hopefully that'll work. Hopefully the audio doesn't slow down, because what I've noticed before is if you slow down the frame rate on a certain video, the audio slows down as well. So it kind of sounds sluggish. So let's just see what happens. Okay, hopefully this works. It doesn't crash or do anything stupid. Audio's messed up as well. Damn it! Alright, that works. So the issue we were running into with this before was that because the images or the videos were different sizes and different frame rates, so it made sense to use this function here, compose, that allowed us to essentially set every video to be a fixed size and render them that way. So you didn't have that issue of that flickering occurring. Now I just want to test this works. Cool, so that's done. Let's make 4 then. We'll make 4. So let's do that. Yeah, it's fine. So the line we changed here was getting the list of files, the video files that we've used. So this line here, it's basically saying if we've used too many video clips up and we don't have many spare, then make our global list of videos blank again so we can use more, so we can use repeat videos. It's just a kind of quick, cheap solution. But let's just look for the code again, see if everything makes sense. Okay, so let's just walk through the code one more time. Let's exit this. Let's go to debug. Okay, talking about the code. So we've got this path here that points to all the video clips. We've got this thing here that specifies all the files in the path. We then go through this statement or loop that loads the files or video files into our memory as video objects here. And we reach through that, so you can see we've got print statement that shows them being loaded up. Then we go through this for loop. And this is kind of the main section here where we'll be going through and making 4 individual videos. And so going through this, we specify the time of each video we want. We want it to be about 10 minutes. So since we know that we're going to be taking our values in seconds, we're doing 60 seconds times by 10, which is 10 minutes. This variable will be our current time for the video, or how long the duration is. And this will be the list of files that holds the indexes of the videos we are going to use. So this is a while loop, and it's basically saying if the current time of our video exceeds that of 10 minutes, then stop, otherwise keep going. So we go here, we go index equals random int. So this pulls random videos out and produces their index for that. So remember that index value is linked to the list of videos that we have loaded in memory. So we have about 115, and we choose a random number from 0 to 114. We then go into this to check whether our index value is in global list variable, because we don't want duplicate values right now. And then this case statement here is if there is a duplicate occur, then only if the duplicate has occurred because this list has filled up with all the values from this list, which means that we've basically gone through all the video files that we have available on our folder. So in this case we have no choice but to use duplicates. So if that does happen, then we clear out our list here, emptying it out so we can use duplicates in the case that we run out of videos to use. And so we add the index to the list of videos to use their indexes, and to the global list to show that we've used that video, so we don't use it again, hopefully soon. Yep, and then we add that video, that time, to our total time. So we know that this time should be something along the lines of 12 seconds, or near about 13 seconds, but yeah. Anyway, we go through that list up until we reach, we go above that. So you can see here we have 605 seconds, and that's 600 seconds equivalent to 10 minutes. So this is about 10 minutes and 5, or 10 minutes and 6 seconds. We then have an empty list here. We then have this variable set to the largest possible number I could think of. We then go into this for loop. We then check the frame rate of the current video and have it so that for all the videos that we see, we have the lowest frame rate. So what we can do is we can set all the videos in our list to be of that lowest frame rate, and that way you don't have that kind of 60 FPS then jump to 20 FPS, because that can be quite difficult to encode when you're creating a compilation like this. So anyway, we're gonna go here, obviously 30, large number, and you can see obviously the current frame rate 30 is smaller than that large number, so we assign that to our lowest frame rate. So currently right now our lowest frame rate is 30, and then we'll add that video item to the final list that we're going to use to create our compilation from. Anyway, keep going through that until we reach the next step, which is this bit, and then we use this function here to create a compilation, and then we finally write it to our desktop, well, not to our desktop, to our machine. And then here you can see it's doing its thing. It'll take a bit of time. First it generates a sound file, which is the audio, and then it will generate the actual video from it. So it generates the MP3 first, then it will generate the MP4 by joining them together. Okay, so we finished that off. Let's just take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, okay. Cool. So, yeah, they seem to work. They look alright. No sound errors, no picture errors. They look all good. So, yeah, let's just run it through the loop then. Next one's 10 minutes and 4 seconds. And again, compiling itself. Well, the idea here is to build something that we can automatically get some videos from. So what we can do is, like in the previous video, specify a description. It does a search. It then checks which videos are popular based on viewership, downloads those videos. We then have this program randomly choose snippets of those videos and puts them together, and then compiles them as one. And then we'll do that over a couple of times. We'll have a bunch of videos we can use as compilations. We can then upload that to YouTube, and then we have to figure out some way of creating thumbnails from that. So that'll be the next step, but let's just see how these pan out. Okay, that's the next one. Whoa. Cool. So that works. So we don't need that. And we don't need that. Don't need that. Run. So yeah, we got something automated now. It'll build us some videos automatically. So talking about the next step of what needs to be done, we've got these videos building compilations automatically now, so that's great. Now we need to figure out a way to make thumbnails, so interesting thumbnails that actually are created from content within the video itself. So that'll be the next step. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.